Are you recording? Well, I'm glad everyone's here tonight. Last week, when we talked about our story, we talked about Jesus and the centurion. And we saw that the centurion had great faith in asking Jesus to heal his servant, and that Jesus was able to do that. And so this week, we're going to move on through Matthew. We're staying in the book of Matthew in God's Word, and we're going to look at a different story when Jesus does a different kind of miracle. So after the centurion had been healed, after the centurion's servant had been healed, Jesus tells the folks that he's going to go to the other side of the lake. So he gets in a boat, and his disciples get in the boat with him. Now, he has all 12 of his disciples with him. And remember, his disciples are his closest followers. It's a group of 12 men that have gone with him everywhere he goes. And so they all get on the boat, and as they begin to row out into the lake, a great storm comes. And you can imagine, as we sit out here at this lake and we can hear the water, just imagine if a storm comes across that lake and the water's coming on top of the boat, and the boat's going topsy-turvy, and it's moving and it's bouncing, and the disciples become terrified. And the whole time that they're being terrified, Jesus is asleep. And so they wake him and they say, Jesus, you've got to save us. This storm is going to kill us all. And he looks and he says, but you have such little faith. And he turns to the storm and he tells the wind and the waves to be calm, to be silent. And immediately everything stops. The storm is over. The boat stops rocking. The wind stops blowing. The waves stop coming over the boat. And everything is stopped. And the disciples look at each other and they ask, who is this that even he can control the wind and the waves? Now, Wilson, what did you think of that story?
It's very cool. God
cool.
works miracles.
Who were the main characters in that story?
Jesus and the disciples.
Oh, can you tell me who the disciples are?
Like name them?
No, you don't have to name them, but who
Okay.
are they as a group?
The 12 of Jesus' closest followers.
Okay. Was there something in that story, Michaela, that we could obey?
We can have more faith in God and in his power whenever things feel very frightening to us.
Okay. Now, what about last week we talked about the centurion and how Jesus didn't even go to heal the servant, but he healed the servant because of the centurion's faith. How does the centurion's faith compare to the faith of the disciples?
He definitely had a lot more faith,
The centurion? Yeah, and isn't that interesting, because the disciples knew more about Jesus. They spent more time around him. So even though we aren't living with Jesus day to day, can we have faith like that centurion?
Yeah, we can.
Well, thank you for listening to the story tonight, and I can't wait until we can come back together and talk again next week.
That was very good. Wow.
Very good.